Hey, what's up? It's Ashley. Thank you for clicking on this video. It is going to be part 2 of enemies to lovers fantasy romance books that I cannot put down. Before I get started with my honorable mentions, a moment to say please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you have subscribed, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you. If you could subscribe, that would be awesome. Honorable mention number 1 is A Deal with the Elf King, and this book has absolutely stunning cover art. It is the first book in the Married to Magic book world, but it is a standalone, and the premise is a person makes a deal with the Elf King, and that's all you need to know. No, I'm just kidding. So our main character is Luella. She lives on the border between the human worlds and the magic world. The magic world is called Midscape, and as I said, she's on this border town, and every 100 years or so, the Elf King comes into the border town and picks a wife. And who do you think he picked? None other than our main character, Luella. If you like A Court of Thorn and Roses, so that is book 1 in the ACOTAR series, you will enjoy the beginning of this book. This book is very Hades and Persephone, Beauty and the Beast inspired. I would say it leans more to Beauty and the Beast than Hades and Persephone, but I love Beauty and the Beast retellings. I love Hades and Persephone retellings. If you like those things, and you don't want a direct retelling, you want more of an inspired by, then you may enjoy A Deal with the Elf King. There's already another book published in this Married to Magic world, which is called A Dance with the Fey Prince. And again, like, this cover art, it's amazing. It is amazing. I love the covers. Now, the reason why this is an honorable mention and not on my main list is because I was a little bit confused with some of the plot points. So there is nature magic in this, there is death magic, there is a magical throne, and I wasn't sure I fully understood all of that stuff. I still kind of got the main idea. I was expecting there to be more steam and spice. That said, if you don't want a lot of steam and spice, if you want something that's more PG-13, kind of like an older young adult, then this book's for you. My second honorable mention in enemies to lovers fantasy romance books that I could not put down is A Heart of Blood and Ashes by Mila Vane. In this book, our Khal Drogo character's name is Madoc, and he is heir to the throne. He finds out that his parents have been murdered and vows to avenge them, even though the council has forbidden him from avenging them. As he's trying to collect more information about why his parents died, he finds out that they were lured by this princess, so he wants to kill this princess. And it's a little bit of, I came to kill you, but oops, I fell in love. If you enjoy that trope, that is in this book quite a bit. There was a lot of really great pieces of relationship development between the two main characters, and that I really enjoyed. If you like SeaWorld with giant lizards, that part I was kind of like, I could do it without it. The title, very derivative for me. I just felt like the title was a combination of the titles of popular books out there, as opposed to being a title that truly represented what this book was about. The other thing that sort of gave me pause about this book is it's called the series. This is book 1, by the way, and the series is called A Gathering of Dragons, and there are no dragons in the book. A dragon refers to a group of barbarian warriors. Now, that said, there was a lot of things that I did really enjoy about this book. One of them is the Khal Drogo like main character. So if you don't know who Khal Drogo is, you need to Google it, but he was a character, very barbarian-like, very similar to the main character in this book. And if you're looking for a book all about Khal Drogo, then this is the book for you. We're out of the honorable mentions territory and we're into the books I truly could not put down that I absolutely loved. The one I read most recently is called Daughter of Smoke and Bone. That is by Lanny Taylor. It is about an angel and a devil who fall in love. I was hooked based on that premise. The cover art, not what I want to see. I'll put the original cover here. Then I will put kind of the alternate cover. Neither of those do I love, but let me explain why the original cover has like mask. because there is a masquerade ball. That is something you like. I know personally, I love when there is like a ball or a masquerade inside of my fantasy romance books. So I just want to let you know if that's something you're looking for. I know I enjoy it. This is the one you need to pick up. Haru lives in the human world. She's human, she thinks, but she really doesn't know that much about herself. She's raised by these monster-like creatures, and in order to be with them, she has to go through these special doorways, and then she's in essentially a workshop. She doesn't know a lot about them or where the other doors in the workshop go. And one of the things she does is go on errands for them in the human world. So she takes different doorways to go to different countries all over the world. She's also attending art school, and there she meets her best friend, who is an apprentice marionette designer. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Haru is doing these errands, going to art class, hanging out with her best friend, and then all of a sudden these dark handprints start to appear, seared into the doors that she's using to travel to different places and also to get to her family. And eventually she has a run-in with an angel. And by run-in, I mean actual fight. The story goes on from there. There's all sorts of the devil and angel fall in love, a little girl's playing in a devil's lair when she grows up. Like, I loved it. I love The Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I can't wait to read book 2. This is book 1 in a trilogy, so keep that in mind. If you're looking for, you know, a good trilogy, there's something beautiful about first book, second book, third book. I like a good YA, especially like that 2011, 2012, if it's done well. And this one is done well. There's twists that you'll like. There's slow build up, reveal, like impeccable timing, and the writing is beautiful. The plot is good. There's a lot of flashbacks. If you like moving between the past and the present, it's more of an urban fantasy. There's a lot of great fantastical elements in it. It's if you like a flip-flop where it's like, we're enemies, no, we're lovers, we're enemies, no, we're lovers, then this is the book for you. It is not spicy. It's more about love rather than sex. If you watch my part 1 video of enemies to lovers fantasy romance books that I couldn't put down, I mentioned the Remnant Chronicles trilogy by Mary E. Pearson, and this next book is also by Mary E. Pearson, also in the same world as the Remnant Chronicles, but you don't necessarily need to read the Remnant Chronicles first in order to enjoy this book. This book is called Dance of Thieves. The cover is, it's just not what I want to see. It's not a cover I enjoy. But the book, I loved the book. I couldn't put it down. The content, I loved it. This is YA, so it is more of a fade to black. But if you like enemies to lovers, forced proximity, heir to a certain gang, falling in love with badass female warrior, this book is for you. It follows Kazi. She's the badass female warrior, and she's sent with some of her fellow female warriors to find some information on a war criminal. They think this war criminal might be in this far away territory. This territory is de facto owned city-state, and it's run by the Ballinger gang. The head of the Ballinger gang just passed away, and his son, Jace, is now unwillingly thrust into the leadership role. He thought he was going to have a lot longer before he had to take over for his dad. Kazi and her warrior chicks show up, and she and Jace have a run-in, and they end up getting captured by a third party and chained together. If you want to read something like that, enemies to lovers who are literally chained, not at the hip, but at the leg, then this is the book for you. I love Mary E. Pearson's writing. I know some people were like, oh, it's not as good as the Remnant Chronicles. Argue with the wall. It's amazing. I loved it, and you need it in your life. The next book I want to talk to you about is Spicy. It's on Kindle Unlimited. It is a massive series. I think there's 7 books out now, 7 or 8 books out now. I have 2 videos about this series up on my channel. One is just a spoiler-free review, and one is a spoilery discussion, and that is the Zodiac Academy. The premise is Tori and Darcy are twins who came of age in the human world, and they are approached by a teacher from this magical world and the teacher says, hey, you're actually heirs to this throne in Solaria, and I'm taking you back where you have all your tuition paid at a magical academy called the Zodiac Academy. This book has every trope in it, including reverse harem, including enemies to lovers, to enemies to lovers, to enemies. You get what I'm saying. It has all sorts of different magical elements, all sorts of different things going on across these 6-7 books. I really enjoyed it. The writing in the first book is not as good as it should be. The writing gets better in the second book. Kind of a break your heart, put it back together again, make you laugh, make you cry type series. I read other books and then I'd be like, I need to know how Tori and Darcy are doing. Let's go back to Zodiac Academy. Cover-wise, I'm okay with these covers. Like, what do you think? Question, what do you think about these covers? Let me know down in the comments below, do you like the cover for Zodiac Academy and all the books that follow? The first one is called The Awakening, and then The Ruthless Fae, which is book 2, is actually my favorite of the series so far. But lots of spice, lots of drama, lots of supernatural, lots of fantastical elements. If that's something you're interested in, then consider getting that ebook off of Kindle Unlimited, or, you know, read in hard copy, whatever you feel like. Oh, I should also mention it is a bully romance. So if you hate bullying, like for example, you didn't like Penelope Douglas' Bully, or you didn't like A Cruel Prince, maybe think about skipping it. But I didn't actually like A Cruel Prince, and then I really liked this because, spoiler alert, the girls get revenge. Don't worry. So it does start off like heavy on the bullying, and then it goes from there. There's also a lot of rationale for why there's bullying eventually if you keep reading. And like I said, really bad first book in terms of the writing. Just push past it. So my next favorite book that I could not put down is book 1 in a series of 4, so it's a quartet. I've read all 4. All 4 are out. All 4 are amazing. The 4th one wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but I know lots of people still really liked it. Those first 3 I absolutely could not put down, and that is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, and the quartet is called Ember in the Ashes. I love so many of the fantasy elements in this book, and I love that it was inspired by ancient Rome. So our main character is Laia, and she and her brother are together, but he gets arrested for treason. And what she ends up doing is an exchange. So they're part of the non-ruling class. So if we were thinking about ancient Rome, they're not the Romans, if you know what I mean. And what she does is she tells the rebels that she will spy for them if they help rescue her brother. And she ends up, there's love triangles, if you like that. There is enemies to lovers. There is a lot of djinn, and as I said, ancient Rome inspiration. Sabaa Tahir's writing is absolutely amazing. She's not afraid to harm main characters, which I like because that means that the stakes are actually high and there are consequences. I wanted to throw one of the books out the window because it made me feel so angry about how it ended. And that's the kind of thing I want from my books. I want them to make me feel something, and Sabaa Tahir does that. She makes you feel something. You get super attached to these characters. It is YA though, let me warn you. So if you're looking for spice, this is not it. But there is love, there is conflict, there is a rich history, there is amazing world building. It's a great read all around. If you haven't picked it up yet, I highly recommend. That is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. My next book is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, and this book set in 19th century Italy, and then book 2, Kingdom of the Cursed, actually takes place in the underworld. So this is very Hades and Persephone inspired. I loved that we started with a YA book and it went into new adult, and basically as you learn more about the characters, it gets spicier. The premise is that Amelia is living in 19th century Italy, specifically Palermo, and she works in her family trattoria. She's really into cooking, and her twin sister Victoria, who she's very close to, is not necessarily really into this cooking piece. Her twin is actually more interested in pursuing and understanding the fact that their family, the females, are witches. You know, witches are persecuted, so they try to really hide the fact that they're witches and not really actively learn the craft and practice it. And Victoria is going her own direction on this. One day, Victoria misses the dinner service, and when Amelia looks for her, she finds her dead, and there is a man standing over her body, tasting her blood, and she is like, I'm gonna kill you. And the man disappears, and so what she ends up doing is using her witchcraft to summon a prince of hell, and it is none other than that man that was standing over her sister's dead body. And the story goes from there. The prince of hell's name is Wrath. I like the dynamic between Amelia and Wrath. It's definitely a little bit bickery, enemies to lovers, but I liked how it was done. I liked that there was a murder mystery. Book 2 takes place in Wrath's world, and I got a lot of Hades and Persephone vibes from this. I got a lot of ACOTAR vibes. I love ACOTAR and I love Hades and Persephone retellings. This was a great read for me. I am really looking forward to book 3, and I love the cover art for all 3 books. I absolutely love it. Like I said, it starts off as YA and gets spicy new adult-ish in book 2. And yeah, I think if you like A Court of Thorns and Roses as much as I did, like that series, then you will like this trilogy. I mean, I haven't read the 3rd book, so I can't promise. But book 1 and book 2, I really enjoyed. So it's a big thumbs up from me. I hope you pick it up if this sounds interesting to you. All right, so that's it for my part 2 of Enemies to Lovers fantasy romance books that I could not put down. If you haven't watched part 1, it's linked down below for you. I really want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video and ask you to please subscribe if you have not had a chance to do so already. If you have subscribed, thank you, you're awesome. I will see you in the next video. This is Ashley saying goodbye. P.S. I'm going to put up on the screen here some videos that I think you should check out that might be interesting to you. Have a great day and happy reading.